getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lind. I'm Chuck Hines. Nice to have you with us this morning. You can participate on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet97.3.com for that. The mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Benchmark hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. One last thing from our friend Mike, our overnighter. Jamie, you're correct. I eat at 2 a.m. on my lunch break. Then I try to have something at dinner with the kiddos before I go to work. Okay.
That's good.
There you go.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's real smart. Yeah.
2 a.m. lunch break.
2 a.m.
Seems a little odd.
You know, hey,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You got to do what you got to do, right? So how do you think this is going to go tonight for the National Football League? The game tonight is only on Amazon Prime. So there'll be... Now, fortunately for me, I got a couple of technology whizzes at my house, okay? So I've been told that I'm good to go. But if I had to do it on my own, I would be concerned about my ability to do that. I do have the ability. I do have figured out how to cast my ESPN Plus stuff up onto my big screen. Okay, and I wonder if this will be smooth for them. It'll just be, hey, no problem, or if there'll be major outrage over the fact that people are like, okay, where's the game? I can't get it. I've got to do this. I got to do this. I got to jump through all these hoops. Will they eventually get it? Is this the wave of the future?
Well, I think it is the wave of the future. I think that it's not like this would be a surprise to anyone, right? I mean, if you were worried about it, shouldn't you be worried about it already?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be the casual fan that's going to go, okay, Thursday Night Football, they're going to go to Fox, and it's going to be, Married with Children or something like that.
Yeah, that's tough for me to gauge. I'm not sure.
Do you care?
I think, no, yeah. 100% do not care. Okay. I think there's plenty of people that live life through streaming services only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you think that's an under 40 crowd? Under 40? Because I think it's an under 40 crowd.
Probably more likely.
I think that will get older as that audience ages.
Yeah. And so I don't think they're going to be bothered by this at all. Yeah.
And then the question is, who's the NFL trying to reach here? I mean, this is a big game. This is not Carolina and I don't know, throw in anybody that's not done very well, whether it's Jacksonville or somebody along those lines. So this is a big game. It's a divisional game. It's an exciting game. You got two really hot quarterbacks, playing against each other. Home crowd, of 70,000 plus. There'll be a lot of energy in the room, and obviously with the NFL's highlight attraction in Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. It's just me. And what I was thinking when I started kind of having this conversation with you, it's almost akin to when ESPN first got Sunday Night Football way back in the day, and there was outrage about how people were gonna watch it, and then eventually people settled into it, and it became routine. And I just remember people being, well, wait a minute, what if I don't have ESPN? What if I don't have this? What if I don't have that? And I just remember there being a lot of hand wringing then, and people have figured it out. So I mean, if you want to watch the game, it'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it will. And again, the number of people that have Amazon Prime I think it's pretty high.
I have never, to my knowledge, tonight will be the first time I've ever watched anything on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Doesn't mean you don't have it.
No, I understand that. I mean,
I didn't say people watch the stuff. I said people who have it.
No, but I mean, if you held a gun to my head and said, put your TV on Amazon Prime, I'd be dead.
Yeah, we watch a lot of movies off of Amazon Prime.
Okay, all right. Somebody says, Chuck, it will be the LA Chargers. Yeah, I know. I'm still I still have it. I still have that in my head. Sorry. Bob says, I'm 62 and I'll be watching. I have Prime, but not ESPN. Okay.
I definitely feel like it's a change. It's different and all that. I think you're looking to be outraged here.
You think I'm looking to be outraged?
I think you're looking. I mean, you're looking for.
I'd like it to be easy.
Pure mayhem tonight. You'd like it to go badly.
Yeah, I really would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. I really would like it to go badly.
For your Chiefs broadcast.
Well, I mean,
that stung a little.
It's not going backwards. I mean, it's not going backwards.
That stung him a little.
Well, if you've watched the Thursday night or Sunday night broadcast, you've seen it's already going badly on regular TV.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So this might actually be a better product.
Okay. We'll see. Bullfighter says this: I've had to show her how to work it multiple times, but my mom only uses streaming services and she likes it better than cable or satellite services. Okay. Raiders dad points out this: at this point, if you can't operate Amazon Prime, you aren't their target audience. Okay. Like I said, as far as I'm aware, tonight will be the first time I've ever watched anything on Amazon. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it. I'm just saying.
If you've watched the game on ESPN Plus, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Get it on your TV, go to the app that says Amazon Prime, click on it, and see what your options are. And I guarantee you it's got a huge button at the top that says Thursday Night Football. It'll be the very first one. Very first one. Even if you're looking for movies, you're going to see a huge button or pencil ad that says Thursday Night Football. You'll see Mahomes and Herbert there at the top. Yeah. I mean, it'll be, and then you'll take your remote and you'll push the button.
Okay.
And then magically the game will appear.
Okay.
Yes. And when they take timeouts, there'll be commercial breaks.
Right. You seem a little irritated with me over this.
I think you're building an outrage factory here over just not wanting to change and your refusal to just like read directions and just follow along, your uncomfortableness with pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
Oh, I push myself. I don't necessarily need to sprint every day to every corner of the pushing the box. Yeah, there's probably some truth to that.
Reading directions and doing something different is just not something you take lightly.
Reading directions and doing something different.
We all fall into this trap, right? Like, why do we got to change? Why do I have to learn something new?
Right.
And there's some like, deep breath. Okay. But as adults, we go, okay, all right, I got to figure it out. I do it.
I know. Okay? Sometimes I'm not very adult about it.
And when you're 6, you're like, no! And you throw a temper tantrum. But when we're adults, we're like, okay, I'll figure it out. And then after the first time, we're like, I wish it was the other way. After the third time, we're like, I don't even remember the other way.
Yeah. It's like I feel like my life is one big password, password to everything. It's like, man, it's just sometimes it's just so frustrating. You can't do anything without a password or a PIN or anything. It's just, I know I sound really old right now.
Well, that's for your safety.
I know it is. I know it is.
That's for your own good.
It's for your own. Right. No, I get that because there's people out there that are trying to steal from you and take from you, and
we all have different things that we
stand on our soapbox about. Or
yes, I mean, and obviously,
the stream
again, changing things that Chuck has always done is one thing that he doesn't care for. I don't care for basketball players who don't wear the
same shoes,
the shoes that match the uniform.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Match the color scheme of the team they play for. Okay. That's one thing I cannot stand.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I can't stand, trash talking with hitters who hit home runs. Okay. That may be the same thing. Jamie, that's changed. Yeah. We used to just drop our head and run around the bases, but now we have to tell everybody about it. Okay,
right.
So
Josh still does.
Yeah, that's what we do, and that's fun, and that brings excitement to the game. So shut up about it, Jamie.
Yeah.
See, we all have our little The ignorant
Of course.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I certainly understand that. I mean, I'm certainly like that. But we do get Al Michaels
or
tonight.
maybe somebody could say even NIL would be one that, I've had issues with as well.
It's going to be a little weird though seeing Al Michaels without Chris Collinsworth. He's got a new partner tonight, but I'm sure he'll, like he said when he was on the Dan Patrick Show on Double T 97.3 a few weeks ago. There's really nothing different about this. The game is the focus. And so the game will be great tonight, Chiefs and Chargers. We'll have it on the radio for you, too, on Double T 97.3 at 7.
Big plays and even bigger laughs. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Raiders' dad, who's driving this morning, and challenged me to be, really on top of my game today. So I don't know if I am yet or not. He says this: I will reluctantly agree with Chuck. I hate how many passwords I have to remember. It's Deacon 1 at the house when we get logged off of one of the services trying to figure out what the password is.
I think it's DEF CON.
Oh, okay, DEF CON. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but it's spelled corrected to Deacon. But yeah, DEF CON. Yeah, that makes way more sense.
I would have read the same thing, Jeff. That's a good catch, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good.
Well, I've been at DEF CON 1 more than I would like to admit.
I was at it yesterday trying to figure something out, and it's like, oh, man, this is just so challenging. Paul asked this question: have either of you guys wore a jersey on air? I have not. I don't have a problem if somebody wants to do it. That's their deal. I only have a couple of jerseys. One that's an actual, somebody gave me a Ed Podolak Chiefs jersey. It's an authentic. Just guy had it and he didn't want it and gave it to me. And I bought one other, but if somebody wants to, have you ever wore a jersey on the air?
I wore a Rayford Young first day of the NCAA tournament last year.
Okay, that's very nice.
Here, sitting next to you.
Well, I just didn't remember it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, just didn't remember it. I was thinking that there was part of me that thought that you had, and then there was a part of me that's like, well,
I have a decent amount of jerseys. I hardly wear them as much as I used to, but like when I go to a Yankees game in Arlington or wherever, I usually rock a Jeter jersey of some sort.
Brandon, this is a fair comment, and I recognize that. Chuck is sounding like that crusty old man that still has his first ever cell phone and refuses to get a smartphone. Quote, this phone does everything I need it to do. Well, every time I just upgraded my phone. It probably does way more than I'm even capable of even knowing what it can do. Although yesterday I missed 13 texts because it didn't send me text, and I think Monday I missed 31. So clearly I've got a problem. Part of the problem is frankly just being downtown. The cell service down here is not ideal. So what that tells me is I don't need to be in my
I'm trying
office.
to think of a current. This would be a good take versus take question. A current technology that has upgraded our lives that we initially fought. Like, why do I have to deal with this? Why can't it just be simple? But now we're like, man, how did we live life without it? And maybe the smartphone is it. I don't know. I don't ever remember complaining when I got there. To that point.
I mean, the technology change that has taken place since I started working in this business to where we are today is, people can give me a hard time for not adapting to change, but I've had to go through, guys my age, people of my age we've gone through a tremendous amount of technology change from when we were in, even in high school, you weren't allowed to use a calculator. You kind of think about, and I remember working at this radio station, and the boss bought me and this other guy IBM correctable ribbon electric typewriters, and we thought, man, we got everything that we need to do our job now. And you can't find a typewriter in town to save your life. So, I mean, the change that...
Chuck, if you were looking for a typewriter, you should have asked me before the move. I think I found 3 of them.
Okay, well, I used to like a typewriter here to type out envelopes if I was sending somebody something, and I'd have to go find it and plug it in, and I was the only guy that was doing it, and I've just kind of given up on that.
I think I probably would go with, I mean, kind of what we're talking about today, just the streaming services thing. I think initially I was like, what? We got to do that. We got to pay something different now. And now
Now you're all in?
Now I feel like, yeah, it's just second nature now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody encourages me to get on the Wi-Fi in our building. I am. I am.
I have not noticed me missing any text messages.
Well, maybe it sounds like it's a me problem. Because
there's some I'd like to actually miss. If we could figure out how to make that happen, I'd appreciate that.
King Craig says he has his high school football jersey. Well, that's good. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. It says both home and away. Wow.
Nice. Well, for the when they had a home game, his girlfriend was wearing his road one. So she wore it around school that day.
Did your girl wear your basketball jersey or your baseball jersey?
I don't think you do that with basketball and baseball.
Okay.
I think that's just a football
just a football thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Here is a conversation starter. If you're gathering with friends in somebody's garage to drink beer and watch the ball game tonight, provided that you've got the proper connections and internet and everything to be able to watch the game in your garage. I know a lot of guys that do that.
Let you in the house.
Well, I know guys that do that. They kind of have their man room, or they have their garage, or they have their spot where they maybe out on their patio or whatever.
Where do they put their car?
Well, I mean, they can put their car in after the game is over, but I mean,
okay.
Unlike some of us. Let's see here. I saw this yesterday, and people are going to go, well, considering that how the game has changed and whatnot, but just let me give you 2 names, and then I'll give you another name. Patrick Mahomes with his 5 touchdown passes last Sunday, okay, against the Arizona Cardinals, now has 155 touchdown passes in his career. He has now thrown more touchdown passes than Roger Staubach at 153 and Bart Starr at 152 on the all-time list.
Product of him being really good, and also, the game just being completely different.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But still, though, when you think about it, Mahomes is just 26 years old. He is in his 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is his 5th year of starting in the NFL. He's been relatively, I know he missed a few games in over the years, but not very many. But at the end of the day, he's just 26 years old, and in the start of his 5th year starting. And like you said, there's no question the game is substantially different from, and really you could say from Starr to even Staubach, the game's different. Because Staubach played a little bit later than Starr.
Yeah, no question.
And Starr was, handing off left and right, but still, he threw the ball. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, you really figured out that the game was so incredibly different when you started seeing guys catch 100 balls in a season.
Yeah.
Because even back in the 80s,
yeah, right.
That was just unheard of.
Right. Right. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So,
you gonna use that one tonight?
I am. I'm watching the game at home. I might bring that up with the troops, and then they're going to go, "Who's Bart Starr?" Some might know. King Craig says this Coach Henderson at Coronado High School wouldn't let our girlfriend wear them. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know how that was received by the girlfriends or the players. But if that was the rule, right? Maybe he didn't want a bunch of perfume on his football jerseys.
Okay,
maybe. I don't know. Maybe. You're not a fan of that. You think
At our school, you were given a jersey that didn't have your name on the back or whatever that you could wear for games that the school owned, or you could purchase your own that had your name on the back.
Okay.
And so most kids' parents purchased the jerseys.
Gotcha.
And so they had one with their name on the back, and they could choose to do whatever they wanted with it.
Change girlfriends. Hey, need my jersey back.
Well, you needed the jersey back the next week.
Okay.
Because you had a home game. You needed that jersey.
I need my jersey. 6:40 this morning on the Morning Drive. This Day in Sports History is next. Continue to take your thoughts, comments, your critiques, your maybe your issues, your gripes, maybe your joys, concerns, all those things on the Yates Flooring Center chat line on Lubbock Sports Station Double T 97.3.
Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3.
Today is September the 15th, 2022. And here is Jeff McGuire with This Day in Sports History.
See, I do need to do something real quick because I missed a big thing yesterday. So, Luda, help me out here. Yesterday's birthday. Noren Sodiase had a birthday yesterday. Got so distracted with Michael Crabtree and the catch and getting all that ready that I completely missed Noren's 27th birthday yesterday.
Okay.
And that was really dumb of me. So I apologize, Noren Sodiase and all the Odiases out there. Please don't find me a dark alley, please. I'm sorry.
All the Odiases out there.
Are we expecting you to know every Red Raiders birthday?
I should know big ones, and he's a pretty big one.
Okay.
I've got a whole list, and I just needed to look at the next name down after Michael Crabtree. But back to this day, 1902, Chicago Cubs infielders Tinker, Evers, and Chance turned their first double play together in a 6-3 win over Cincinnati.
It's funny how often their names have come up this week.
Well, they were formed this week, and they turned their first double play today.
I know.
Which is what they were known for.
And we talked about them yesterday.
1928, St. Louis Cardinals set a National League record for 18 men left on base. They still beat the Phillies 8-6 at the Baker Bowl in Philadelphia. 1946, Dodgers beat the Cubs 2-0 in 5 innings. The game was called not because of rain or darkness or, normal things that we've heard. It was called because of gnats.
Gnats. It's funny, I was going to say bats, but which rhymes with gnats.
1947, Yankees clinch pennant number 15. 1950, for a record 6th time, New York Yankees first baseman Johnny Mize hits 3 home runs in a single game. Doing it once is impressive. Doing it 6 times is just showing off. 1978, Muhammad Ali beats Leon Spinks in the 15th round of for the heavyweight boxing title.
Leon kind of really lived off of his big win and then couldn't stack success.
Fast forward to 1990, Chicago White Sox Bobby Thigpen is the first to record 50 saves in a season. Speaking of double plays earlier, 1995, Cardinals shortstop Ozzie Smith sets a record of 1,554 double plays. And in 1996, the Texas Rangers retire their very first number. Does Chuck Hines know who it is?
34?
34 is correct. Nolan Ryan's retired today. I got 3 things for you for food. Kind of touches a lot of different bases for us. Happy National Double Cheeseburger Day. Happy Creme de Mint Day. And National Linguine Day.
I'm not really into the linguine. Like the creme de mint, is that like a drink or a...
It is yes.
Okay.
It's a liqueur.
A liqueur.
A mint liqueur. We had a bottle in my pantry growing up that my mom enjoyed opening the top of and just smelling.
Oh,
and
she
getting
take a swig
buzz
out of it?
No, just smelling to get the buzz. I'm not going to say my mom was a lightweight, but no, she would just pop the top and go, okay, we're good now.
You kids go out and play in the street.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Prince Harry turns 38 today. Tom Hardy, 45. Tommy Lee Jones, 76. Pete Carroll, 71. Dan Marino, 61. Oliver Stone is 77. And Gaylord Perry is 84 today.
How about that?
And when I say the name Marilyn Monroe, what is the very first thing you picture?
Happy birthday, Mr. President. In a slinky gown singing.
See, that's a good answer. First thing I think of is the famous skirt scene
sure.
with her in the white dress. Filmed on this day in 1954.
The Cat on the Hot Tin Roof?
It's from 7 Year Itch.
7 Year Itch, right. Okay.
It's iconic for sure, but it actually cost a marriage to one Marilyn Monroe from Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, really?
After he was very upset after multiple takes were used to be filmed.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was very exhibitionist. Was very upset. They ended very soon after got divorced. After her death in August of 62, until the day he died in 1999, he sent flowers to her grave every single week.
Every week? Wow.
And that is this day in sports history.
All right. 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. We'll have Red Raider football with Joey McGuire on the air tonight. And then Chiefs and Chargers from Kansas City. And then also tonight, Astros and the A's. A's have moved down to Houston after beating the Rangers last night. 6:40 on 100.7 the score. 7 o'clock the broadcast time tonight for the Astros and the A's. I do want to get into this a little bit this morning, but if you had, and you can't do this on our time, you need to do this on your time. But if you've not seen this article on ESPN yet about Joey McGuire and Jeff Traylor and their relationship and how it evolved and how basically these two high school football coaches from Texas have risen up to these big Division I jobs like Coach McGuire and Coach Traylor, it's a great read. And one thing that really stood out to me is the head coach of Longview. His name is John King. Do you know him? Do you know Coach King?
I do.
He said this.
His son was quarterback for the Aggies.
Right. He said this: they represent us because they're one of us. They're two guys that people took a chance on that did it the right way. They love kids, coach kids, and got a golden opportunity to go to the college ranks and made the most of it. He also talked about how their son was recruited by, his son was recruited by Coach Traylor, I believe, when he was at Texas, and then probably Coach McGuire when he was at Baylor. I don't know, it's just interesting. I didn't realize that they were that close, Coach McGuire and Coach Traylor, but extremely close in terms of, they competed for the same jobs before, and instead of kind of trying to, make it a competitive battle, they became friends, became almost like brothers as a result of it. So I thought that was, it's a real, like I said, it's a really good read, and it gives you a nice perspective for both, and it shows the respect that both have within that high school coaching community, which, how important is that? It's like hugely important, right? Because when you talk about relationships and being able to, talk to kids and recruit kids, you've got to start with the coaches and things like that. One thing that was kind of funny, they were talking about going to San Antonio, and they were speaking, and basically McGuire said the biggest difference in being a speaker and an attendee is what he had to wear, and he blamed Coach Traylor for it. He said, "I'm going to get laughed at today for wearing this," he said, tugging at the lapel of his blazer, "but I'm not going to let Jeff Traylor out-sport coat me. Literally, I woke up this morning and said, Jeff's wearing a sport coat, then I'm wearing a sports coat. That's my guy."
Chuck Hines, nice to meet you. I need that jacket. You like it? It looks good, man. Yeah. Here's my business card. You can have that. All right. Thank you, man. Let me know how I can help. I will.
So, I do like how I think you're going to get the respect of high school coaches when you see college guys that have gone the same route that you're trying to go through, right? So you've got guys that, hey man, he's been here just like we were at one point, and he was a guy that we competed against and was a quality dude. So he's the kind of guy I'd want one of my players playing for. And so I surely that's got to help in the recruiting world, because those high school coaches, they have some factor in it. They're not the ultimate, but I mean, they're allowing certain guys on campus, and they're speaking highly to their players about certain guys compared to other guys. And so there's a bit of a factor there. I guess the interesting part to me is that I guess I didn't realize that it was so rare for Texas high school football coaches to rise up the ranks and end up being Texas college football coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Spike Dykes did the same thing, but I would assume that most of them went that way. But maybe that's wrong. Maybe college coaches end up being college players, and then they just go on to college coaching staffs after that, and they don't start from the beginning and coach their way up like that.
And I think the other thing too for these two guys in particular is that they know their roots and they haven't forgotten them. And still appreciate, the time that they spent in the high school ranks and the respect that they have for those coaches and assistant coaches that are doing it today.
Recapping yesterday while looking ahead to today's sports day. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Hines. Bo, who presumably is tuned in on the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank, reports this. I feel like Bo's kind of giving us behind the lines, kind of a scouting report, Jamie. Okay. He says this: NC State will be having a blackout, so Road Raiders, wear your red and white. Okay?
Smart move.
Smart move. PJ reports in. He said we'll be there +3 flying out of the LBK tomorrow morning. Okay, good. We're going to need some help there because North Carolina State goes into this game with an 11-game winning streak at Carter Finley Stadium. And this kind of surprises me. That's the 5th best active home winning streak in the FBS. Second longest in the history of Carter Finley, which opened in 1966. Clemson has the longest home streak at 35, then Oregon at 20, Alabama at 14, Georgia at 13, and NC State at 11. Does that surprise you that it's only 35? I realize that's maybe that's just thinking about it out loud doesn't seem like a big number, but that's 6+ years for Clemson that they haven't lost a game at home. Does that seem like a small number?
It seems like a big number to me for a college football team. But then again, I think about Clemson and the Ohio States and the Alabamas of the world, and I think, oh man, they don't lose many home games. So,
like Oklahoma's when it was broken by the Red Raiders in 2012 was like 56 or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think. I guess I feel like that's about what I would have thought it would have been.
Okay.
Just because every once in a while Alabama will lose an SEC game at home or whatever. So, yeah, I guess so.
And, okay, so I can't say that I just remembered this because I don't. And I don't think I knew this, and if I had, I'd forgotten it. But NC State's coach that led them to 16 straight from 72 to 75, you got to remember, in those years, college football wasn't just always front page news, and obviously the number of games on television was extremely small. But do you know who the head coach was when they won 16 straight?
At NC State?
Yeah. It's a name and you're going to go, I didn't know he coached there.
I do not know.
Lou Holtz.
Don't think I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you think about Coach Holtz being at Arkansas and, of course, at Notre Dame and,
South Carolina. Those are the three that I think of.
Yeah.
I did not know that he coached at NC State.
I didn't either. And so, but 72 to 75, they won 16 straight under Lou Holtz. So there's another little, I think, very big tidbit for you. For your parties this weekend when you gather with your buddies. Okay, hey, I know they've won 11 straight here, but did you guys know that Lou Holtz, the Notre Dame guy, coach there too? That's kind of how that would go. That's kind of how you would kind of drop that in there.
It's good.
Okay, it's good.
Just when they aren't expecting it.
Just when they're unexpecting it. All right. Let's get a little word from Coach McGuire here, especially on their quarterback for NC State. His name is Devin Leary. He rushed for 2 and threw for 4 against Charleston State the other day, or Charleston Southern, I guess. Anyway, that tied a school record for single-game touchdown responsibility. That mark is now held by him, a guy by the name of Philip Rivers, and Mike Glennon. For his career, he now has 60 touchdowns, 56 via the pass and 40 on the ground. That ties him with Philip Rivers and Russell Wilson. And actually what he did was he tied Russell Wilson and Philip Rivers last year for the single season record with 37. So remember when Russell Wilson was there, and then he, of course, transferred, opted out. But still, 37 and 37 for Devin Leary. Here's Joey McGuire on the NC State quarterback.
Big arm, he can make all the throws. He's a guy that can extend the play and has played a lot of snaps, he's a guy that has played a lot of snaps. And I remember before when we were recruiting him, we thought the dude was going to be legit, and he definitely is. So we've got to continue. I was proud of our secondary from the standpoint of having a lot better eyes and eye discipline, and I think we got to do it again.
That's Coach Joey McGuire. Devin Leary so far on the season, 33 of 58. He's thrown an interception, thrown for 449 yards, 5 touchdowns, longest of which was for 40 yards. From a rushing standpoint, he's only toted the ball 5 times for 22 yards. His net is 21, and so he's got, like I said, the couple touchdowns. His longest gain, 12 yards. I don't really get the impression that he's going to concern you from maybe a scramble of running it up the middle or, taking a sweep with it. But it sounds like he'll extend the play because he'll be somewhat elusive.
Well, I ended up watching their game against Charleston Southern, and he impressed me with his running ability. Now, that wasn't the only thing that impressed me, but I thought he was good when he tucked the ball and ran. Okay. So I may be a little bit more concerned about that than you are. I think he's a good athlete, and he really can make all the throws. Now, they were playing an opponent like you played an opponent in week 1, and it felt like every wide receiver was wide open.
Yeah.
But he looked very impressive, and he's going to be a tough one to handle.
Now you've made me a little more concerned.
Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, I thought he looked like a really good athlete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's just a little bit more.
Not a speed guy or whatever, but just shifty and elusive. Yeah.
Sneaky. Mm-hmm. All right. Here's a little more from Coach McGuire on Leary.
Getting to play one of my favorite people in the world. Dave Dorn and I go back a long ways. He actually has a huge fingerprint on Cedar Hill. He was at Kansas in 2003, and he was the first guy to offer one of my guys whenever I was a head coach. He offered Marcus Herford, who played at Kansas, had a really good career, and we've been friends ever since. He flew me out to Wisconsin. I spoke at their clinic. We've kept each other. He's one of the first persons to text me whenever I got this job. Just a class act. He's got a connection here because he's got Ruffin McNeil on his staff, who's just one of the best people in the world. And, Texas Tech Red Raiders know what kind of guy he is. And so really excited. I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to play him, man. This is a team that plays with incredible passion, and they play really fast, and this is going to be a great game for us, again, to see where we're at and to keep growing as a team.
That's Coach Joey McGuire talking about their coach, Dave Dorn, and his relationship with him. I did think that was interesting the other day. You think about sometimes how big the world is, and then in your own individual world, sometimes it gets really small because, this person helps you with this or this person helps you with that, and they're clear across the country. And here's two guys that I didn't know that had any kind of connection until the other day when he talked about his very first player that was, signed and recruited out of Cedar Hill was by Dave Dorn.
Yeah, I thought the more interesting thing there is that Coach McNeil is on the staff. I did not
You didn't know
realize
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an interesting tidbit there. A guy that everybody wants to root for if you're a Red Raider. But that's coaches, man. They just seems like there's always something that intertwines them together. Somebody's already coached with somebody else, or I coached with this guy and now he coaches with that guy.
Right. Yeah.
And,
No, I'm always fascinated by
players.
that,
There's always something that ties them together one way or another.
Coach Ruffin McNeil is now a special assistant to the head coach. He had been, I think, helping with his dad, and had been at Oklahoma doing something similar with Lincoln Riley, and had been the head coach at East Carolina, his alma mater, after leaving Texas Tech. But Ruff is one of those guys that you always want to root for. Hopefully he'll be smiling after the game, but hopefully it's smiling because he's happy to see some Red Raiders. But on the inside, he'll be crying because his team will go down. Okay? He's just one of those guys that's always got a smile on his face, yep. Coach McNeil.
Getting you up and getting your sports day started. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, hit me.
All right, today's question of the day involves your Red Raider football team. Through 2 games, which position group do you feel like has overperformed from your expectations heading into the season, and which one has underperformed?
Man, I kind of feel like this is a little bit like yesterday. Because I'm going to say I think the defensive line has overperformed based on what I expected going in. And I'm going to say that the defensive backs have underperformed based on what we thought, given the number of guys that returned and kind of how things were setting up and what your expectations were going into the season through 2 weeks.
Okay.
I like half of Chuck's answer. Defensive line, I agree with, his overperformed for what my expectations were. Not that I didn't think they were talented, but I just didn't know. Offensive line has underperformed, and they didn't have a very high bar to cross. Last week's performance was not good for them in any way, shape, or form. Very disappointed with the offensive play so far this season.
Okay, on the overperformed side of things, while I don't disagree with the defensive line, I think I had higher expectations for them than I did the linebackers. I felt like there were more question marks in the linebacking core. I think the linebackers have been really good. So I go with the linebackers as far as a group that's overperformed. As far as underperformed, to me it's the tight ends. I felt like we were going to see a lot more out of the tight ends. We love the depth, the group of guys that you have there, but Baylor Cupp, 2 catches, Henry Teeter with just 1 catch, and Mason Tharp with just 1 catch. 4 grabs through 2 games for that group. I thought they were going to be a much, much bigger factor.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. With regard to the offensive line, I guess I just felt like that there were all these question marks. We already knew that there were question marks. I don't disagree with what you're saying, that they didn't have a good game. But that's, I guess, from just all of our discussions, it just seemed like that we didn't expect any problems out of the defensive backfield. And somebody off the text line says, thought the DBs had a good game last week. Yeah, I think it was improved. It was improved, no question. I just thought that was I guess, silly me, I just thought that was a given going into the season. I didn't think that you were going to have to, I didn't think you were going to have that be a question
first
mark.
Game hiccup.
First game hiccup. Yeah, that's probably better said.
Yeah, especially against an FCS opponent.
Yeah. And I can see your point on the linebackers and on the tight ends. Yeah, it's been very quiet. Now, is that because of the offensive line play? Or is that because the tight ends have not been able to get open? Is that because of the play selections?
Part of the deal may be you have to adjust what they're doing and keep them in the block rather than send them out in patterns. I mean, it doesn't feel like they've been targeted a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Tharp was targeted once last game and that was one of the big interceptions, down near the goal line, but just haven't gotten a lot from them. And again, that may be about, hey, we've got to keep in this extra blocker, or it may be that Coach Kitley is deciding, hey, we're gonna go with more receivers rather than have a tight end.
Okay.
All depending on which package he's putting out there.
Is there a linebacker per se that has stood out to you more than others?
Probably Merriweather, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that some of the reason the tight end hasn't been as big a part of your offense is because of how much the running game has with Brooks and the splitting carries in the first game for sure, but with Brooks last game, he had a pretty decent game running the ball, and then you had your quarterback running successfully, especially in overtime too, that eliminates some of where those guys would be most effective in the red zone.
Oh, I think they can be effective anywhere.
No, but with the success that those guys have had, you got the big targets and the tight ends. When I think of big targets and tight end, I think of in the red zone area, getting across the goal line, the short little dump passes that get you in there and being a big target.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, they can be used there, but I mean, I think they can be used anyway. Donovan Smith set a personal record for how many? 59 attempts.
Yeah.
59 attempts, and you got one catch out of the tight end position. He dropped back to throw 59 times.
Yeah, that's right.
And only one found the hand of a tight end. That seems like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me too high on those guys, but I thought we had great depth there, and that we had three big time players.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot said about Baylor Cup coming into the season. Now, maybe,
and there was a lot said by a lot of people about 6'9" Mason Tharp too.
Yeah, myself included, no question.
Included. Yeah. And he's got one catch. There's 2 games.
This from the H. Center
Center. Was a touchdown though.
Agree with Jamie on the tight ends. With our size, those guys should be automatic targets, especially in the red zone.
Like what Jeff's saying.
Yep.
Yeah, to Jeff's point. But again, I'm just saying, well, I agree with Jeff, and you can use them anywhere. Mm-hmm. Tight ends are also huge on 3rd down and 3 because they can, get past the first down marker and screen somebody behind them and make a catch,
This person says the offensive line has overperformed. I thought they would be worse.
Oof.
Good call on the tight ends. They were hyped preseason. Yep. Could be they have needed the tight ends to block with the offensive line.
That was kind of what I was suggesting. Maybe that's a reason for it.
Yeah, just somebody reiterating that.
Maybe that's a reason.
At any rate, and your starting left guard is, I think, is a Friday decision with Weston Wright. That's what Coach McGuire alluded to on Monday. So today is Thursday. That was at about 12:30 or so Monday afternoon. Maybe by the time we get to Red Raider football with Joey McGuire tonight at 6, he'll have a little bit more of an update with regard to Weston Wright. They'll practice tomorrow morning with their Fast Friday, and he talked about game time decisions. He really said with Weston Wright, he might be a Friday decision based on his availability and what they see on Friday, just because of the amount of weight that he carries and how much more difficult that is for him to rehab that ankle compared to, somebody that's 100 pounds lighter. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. And again, we'll have Red Raider football with Joey McGuire on the air tonight at 6 o'clock here on Double T 97.3. So I look forward to that. Let's see. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I was feeling pretty good about our team till I listened to you guys all week. Now I feel pretty lousy. LOL.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling, and I've told you this, guys, all week long. I don't know what to think about last Saturday. I know I'm excited that you won, and I feel like there's something to be said for you figured out a way to win a game. Mm-hmm. But there was the frustration of feeling like you really played a hand in beating yourself. Ultimately, you didn't get beaten. But there was some self-inflicted wounds there that were disappointing. And I think the overwhelming thing in my mind right now is this team can't take. It'll be really difficult. I don't want to say can't. It'll be really difficult for this team to take it to the level we want them to get it to if the offensive line is not performing better. That's. I mean, I feel like front and center to me.
Yeah.
But I did also come out of the game just thrilled with what you were defensively on Saturday, because I expected that to be a higher scoring game.
Austin says this: how much of the perceived offensive line struggle was the quarterback decision-making / pocket presence? And Centex Hank says if Donovan doesn't look to pass to the tight ends, then they're not going to be a factor.
I would go, the first comment, I'd flip it around. How much of the poor decision-making by the quarterback was because the offensive line wasn't giving him time to survey the defense and think? I would say that's the way. I would say the poor offensive line play affected the quarterback way more than the decision-making of the quarterback affected the offensive line.
Or the tight end factor, yeah.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.